Hey everybody, welcome to Tuesday's edition of Box Seats. My name is Frank Holder. I'm here with two comics comedians in the game. My God, they've been in the game for a long time. Now watch this, Rodney Perry. That's Rodney Perry. He's been in the game for a very, very long time, from film, television, also, he even did some commercials and hosted a couple of things. I like that too. And that's talent, Def Comedy Jam fame. He's been in films, television, acted. I'm blessed to be in the presence of two guys who are in the comedy industry and very well known. Like that, Rodney? You like that, Rodney?
And ladies and gentlemen, publisher, creator, one of the dopest guys in the game. He put comics, gave us publicity when nobody else would. Mr. Frank Holder.
Well, I appreciate that. This is
let's not sleep on Frank. Frank is the man. You're right, Rodney. He been keeping dudes working, keeping their name in the game when nobody else would. Human Mill, CEO, founder, creator. Be that guy.
Okay.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But that's not why I was doing what I was doing. But anyway,
but you deserve that. And there's no BS. Yeah.
Thank you. You're watching right now a show that we call Box Seats, where we talk about sports, we're comics, we talk about sports. I got to jump into, before we even jump into the conversation that I really want to talk about, let's first just go over the top stories of the day. The top stories of the day, first of all, the Patriots lost to Kansas City last night. Green Bay destroyed the Falcons. Major League Baseball jumped off last night too. The Yankees destroyed Tampa Bay. And let me just say this. Tampa Bay was not supposed to lose any games against the Yankees. They got destroyed. The Yankees ended up hitting 4 home runs, got a grand slam by Garciano Stanton. Did I say that right, Talent? Garciano Stanton? I said his name right?
You got that.
Okay. He hit a grand slam, which I don't think has ever happened. In the 9th inning, last person up at bat, he did that. And the Titans returned to they're able to return to their facility. And I want to talk about that too. And all of them have tested negative, so they are able to return to the facility. And quick little note about that: the Patriots had 2 players last night. One of them who did not play. 2 players who had a migraine. They pulled one last night. I mentioned that. And Sue Bird from the WNBA is 1 win away for Seattle, getting ready, who's playing Las Vegas, for getting her 4th WNBA title. Now, we've covered the topics. Now let's jump into the game last night. We had a doubleheader last night. The Patriots were playing the Chiefs, and Green Bay played the Falcons. First thing that jumped off the table for me last night, forget about me being a Patriots fan. Just forget about that. We all know I'm a Patriots fan. Forget about that. I want to ask both of you, that call last night, or that no call, let me start with you, Talent, first. Was that a horrible call, or did you think that was a fair call? I'm talking about the call when Patrick Mahomes, the game is 6-3, Patrick Mahomes is being pulled down. You know what I mean?
Ain't but one call you could be talking about, Frank. We all know that call.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. They tried to clean it up this morning on all the statements from the NFL, from the referees. It was, part of my French, it was bullshito, right? Everybody know it was bullshito.
Right.
And they tried to say it was to stop the play so the player didn't get hurt. Wasn't even that kind of play. That right there, they robbed him of that play. That is not he was down. When was he down? I didn't know you could be down in midair now. That's a new rule.
Down in midair. I gotta remember that one. Rodney Perry, what you think? Because if it was an incomplete pass, the guy still caught it and ran. If it was a fumble, he still caught it and he was going down. I think, before I even throw the table to you, I think that the ref didn't finish seeing it and he was trying to cover his ass. And because of that, he was like, we said he was down. He was down. But it changed the tide of the game. It was horrible. And the Patriots were already at a loss, but they already were in a wrong position. But Rodney, what you think, man?
Hey, man, I'm a big conspiracy theorist, man. So this is right up my alley. I think anytime you got the primetime guys in the league, they tend to protect those guys. As long as you hot, you get some protection. And that's just the protection afforded to a guy that's the main guy. I mean, you got to look at them last night, though. They went the first half without scoring, really. And so, they need Mahomes to be putting up those points. And it was crazy. It was a bad call.
I'll say this. It was the first time this season. Hell, it was the first time I think I've ever seen the Kansas City Chiefs were 32 seconds, 42 seconds away from not scoring a touchdown the first 3 quarters. I had to see that. Now, and that's
Exactly.
number one. And number two, if that is what that is, then how do you explain the Eli Manning play in 2007 when he does the exact same thing? You know what I mean? And so he's not down, but Patrick Mahomes is down.
Well, you dug Eli Manning up out your ass.
Yeah, I was mad.
You was really upset.
I was upset, bro. We was the Patriots weren't supposed to lose, and they were winning the game in a way. They were winning the battle of the game. They had the tie, they had everything. That could have changed the whole momentum of the game and could have just went another way. You know what I mean? But
it would have not only affected the game, it would have affected the league.
Yeah.
Now we've been giving some passes to players for getting hurt and not having a preseason. The refs didn't have one either.
Good point. Great point. Actually, great point. All right, so let's talk about the second game. Second game last night, you had Green Bay. Green Bay absolutely destroyed the Falcons, right, Talent? So let me ask you this. I'm assuming you saw the game, right? Is Aaron Rodgers really in the conversation? Should he be in the conversation for the MVP right now because of who he beat, or do you just think that not just yet because it was only the Falcons? What's your thought?
Well, no. I've been saying it every week, Frank. Every week I've been in this Aaron Rodgers bubble. You ask us every week who was our MVP of the week. I've been Aaron Rodgers. This was the only week I gave it to Jackson on the Raiders, but the first three, I'm like, dude, Aaron Rodgers, because he's balling out. Not just the Falcons every week. You know what I mean? And they're playing. Sometimes they're playing the comeback kid. Sometimes they're jumping out the gate from the front. It don't even matter. He's balling out. He definitely deserves the right to be in that conversation.
Okay. All right.
You see how much fun he was having last night?
He was toying with them. He was toying with them. It looked like a men with boys. You know what I mean? It looked like how I looked when I was out there with my 8-year-old son throwing the ball. You know what I mean? And I was running. You know what I mean? And that's what it looked like to me. It looked like it was absolutely no competition. But Rodney, what you thought? It was horrible.
Man, Aaron Rodgers kind of is always in the conversation in my opinion. I mean, he's just a great player, and he always finds a way to squash the reasons you shouldn't be messing with him. I mean, he's old, but he's still balling out, like you say. But get this though, and I think Tyler said this before. They're trying to hand the league over to the next guys.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, I don't think Aaron Rodgers will get nowhere near the MVP. You know what I'm saying? They trying to hand it to my man in Baltimore. They trying to hand it to Mahomes. They trying to hand the league over to them. They not about to, I don't care how good he play. And let's not forget he was playing Atlanta. Atlanta find a way to lose. I was out of the spot last night with the Falcons fan. I can't believe they still wearing them outfits.
What, the Falcons jersey?
Man, take that shit off.
Well, that brings up my next question. Should Dan Quinn be fired? I mean, we'll talk about some firings this morning. It's been 4 weeks. There's already been a head coach been fired, Bill O'Brien. Talent, should Dan Quinn been fired? If Bill O'Brien's fired, why not Dan Quinn? Question for you.
Well, yeah, I think he should have been let go, only because of a couple of things. One, you can tell when a team needs to be directed or hear from somebody else. Like they're no longer responding to a person. That's for one. For two, just by looking at where Atlanta was the last 2-3 years to where they're starting this season, that's got to fall on your coach and GM. And he's both, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's got to fall on one or the other. He just happened to be both. So fire both those Negroes. Both of them got to go.
Rodney Perry, what you think, man?
Man, Atlanta, it's such a tough thing to watch. I live here in Atlanta, so I get to see these guys up close. They score points. They score points. They even stop people every once in a while. But when it needs to happen, it don't happen. And that points to coaching to me. And to answer your question, should Dan Quinn be fired? He should have been fired. He should have been. They should have let him come into the season. Matter of fact, they should fire him from other stuff. They should fire him from working at Popeyes, or he can't run Pizza Hut. It's just tough, man.
So is Julio Jones the problem? I mean,
he's a wide receiver.
Yeah, I know that.
Now, is it Matt Ryan?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is it Julio Jones? Is it Matt Ryan? I mean, is it the head coach? Like, what is the problem with Atlanta? Like, I saw the game last night and they didn't see nothing. So, but I haven't seen the rest of the game. So,
but look, how about this? Where's the running game?
That's true. Yeah.
You go get Todd Gurley and you don't give him the ball. So now you go, okay, what's wrong with the team? And again, that point to coaching to me. I mean, Julio is cold. Mm-hmm. Julio is as good as Aaron Rodgers is, a receiver. He's as good a receiver as Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback. And Matt Ryan is, I mean, man, let me tell you something. You take Atlanta people to talk about this dude. They hate him. They hate Matt Ryan, but Matt Ryan can't throw the ball. Now his decisions are a little questionable, but dude, come on, man. Dan Quinn got to go first. Then Matt Ryan is next.
Okay, all right. So let me ask you this, talent. Bill O'Brien also got, not also, but Bill O'Brien did get fired yesterday. He's the GM, right? He's the coach, right? People have been saying, I was listening to a little bit of Houston radio behind the scenes and everything else. They were saying he should have been fired. He doesn't have a connection with the players. He's like the rah-rah coach, and a lot of people in the organization do not like him at all. So my thing is, since that Kansas City loss, when they were up, they were beating Kansas City. Remember that game? Like, they haven't won a game since that game. So I guess the question is should they have fired him in the offseason? Why wait? Then here's the worst part. He trades away. They have no draft picks, right? And then he trades away DeAndre Hopkins. Like talent. Should they have not fired him off season already?
Well, I think like this. I think, from my opinion, I think it must be super hard. It must be super hard to get rid of somebody in the off season and justify it, at least if they're still under contract. Because what do you say? Especially a COVID season. What do you say? Oh, we didn't practice. Oh, we didn't get to the facility. You have no real excuse because it's COVID. Now, I think if we were coming into a regular season where people had regular practice and preseason, you can say, you know what, this is looking good. Get rid of them and justify it. I just think we know that this is a historical year in season. So I think they had to let it play itself out a little bit to justify it. So I think they did the right thing. They let 3-4 losses go down, and it was like, yo, it ain't working.
Yeah, you make that makes a great point. I mean, I can see why the Houston ownership would say that, but still, they haven't won a game since that Kansas City game last year. So kind of, I don't know. I'm a little.
But you don't have nothing to go off of until you start playing.
Yeah, that's true too. Rodney, what you think, man?
I mean, you let go of Hopkins first. Now, Hopkins, arguably top 3 receivers in the league.
The best receiver in the league right now.
So he's number 1 in the league right now, and you let that guy go and wonder why you're losing.
Mm-hmm.
Who your QB gonna throw the ball to? Like, to me, this dude sabotaged this team, man. Like, I don't know why. I'm always on a conspiracy tip, so I'm like, that don't make sense unless he's got, like you say, he's not a coach, he's not a good player relation guy, which means he didn't get along with Hopkins. And Hopkins like, man, get on out my face. He's like, well, you going there, And it's racial. I'm gonna say it. It's racial. It's racial.
Well, I'm not gonna say it's racial or not. I think it's stupidity. I'll just be honest with you. I think
I'm gonna say he ain't no such thing that stupid. He can't be that stupid.
I think what happens with these guys in this position, you got these guys that's trying to make their own way, and they will do something crazy and outlandish looking to the rest of us. And it's a 50-50 thing. If it works, people are like, oh my God, he's a genius. But if it doesn't work, everybody's like, we told you, stupid.
Now, let's just make sure we be clear for the viewers out there. This man got rid of DeAndre Hopkins, and he got rid of their first-round draft. They have no first-round draft picks. They have nothing to even build off. So the next dude who's coming in, who's going to be coach, right, he's working off of, he's working from the back, trying to get
behind the A-ball.
Yeah, he really is. And then on top of that, if they hire a coach who is a /GM, how do you even fix this mess? But I don't know. I mean, that's neither here nor there. But now here's a question I got for both of you. Who's the next head coach to get fired? Okay, because we got the Jets from Adam Gase. You got the New York Giants,
I know this one. Ooh.
Hold on. You got Joe Judge over the New York Giants. You got Mike McCarthy, Dallas Cowboys, or Dan Quinn again, Atlanta Falcons. I'll start with you, Rodney. Who do you think will be the next head coach to get fired?
Neither one. Matt Nagy.
Ah,
The Bears are doing good right now, but what Nagy on the chopping block? He lose 2 games, it's over.
okay. I understand your thought process of saying that, but I think he'll get spared because he got a quarterback come off the bench. And
right. I mean, and he's 3-0, which helps.
Yeah.
Winning helps. But
that's why I said I don't think I can't agree with that one right there, Rodney.
He got a short leash. Hey, like you watch Boston news, I watch Chicago news. They don't like him. Nobody like him in Chicago.
Okay, but he's winning. So right now, the rumors of him getting fired.
He lost this week, and if he loses next week, his ass is gone.
All right, well, Tyler, I'm gonna give you the list, and you tell me who you agree or disagree. It's Jets with Adam Gase, the Giants with Joe Judge, of course, the Dallas Cowboys with Mike McCarthy. You think Dan Quinn with the Atlanta Falcons, or do you think it's a coach I didn't even mention, or a coach who might have,
Jets?
Well, no, I'm gonna tell you why it's not gonna be the Jets.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be the Jets.
They already said they're gonna let him finish the season.
Yeah.
Just to give you some New York news, they already said they're gonna let him rock out. So I think the next one to go is between McCarthy, because of the conspiracy story you put out there earlier, Frank, about the whole Aaron Rodgers going over to America's team and they not getting along. The stage may be set right there. So it's going to be between Dallas and it's going to be between the Giants.
Okay.
Those two coaches on the hot seat.
I'm gonna throw it out there, and I'm gonna say I think it's gonna be Dan Quinn because everybody across America is mad at the Atlanta Falcons. Like it seems like the NFL is so upset at how bad they're doing because 3 years ago they were in the Super Bowl and they are going the complete opposite way. So I think he's the next one. But I do agree with you, Tom. I think Mike McCarthy is right behind that. You know what I mean? I think firing is gonna happen in the next couple of weeks. I think they're not gonna even play around with that. But
I think if we talk about that. I think it's a difference, Frank and Rodney, when you come in with some sort of name or stature. I think when you hire one of these no-name brand coaches, it's a little different for them. But when you bring in, let's keep it real. McCarthy got he got a little history. He's built up a rapport and a name. So I think they're going to be harder on you. They're always harder when you're supposed to be somebody.
Yeah, that's true.
Let me understand this.
Rodney, being you go to a comedy club, Rodney, if they know us, it's harder for us. The guy that they don't know, oh my God, he was funny as hell. You know why? Because you didn't know what to expect. He had no pressure. He didn't have to impress you. Me and Rodney got to be better than our last show every time.
But that worked both ways, though, Talon. I mean, you get a certain amount of love just because you are who you are, too.
In the beginning.
McCarthy is a world-class coach. I don't think they're going to let him go.
In the beginning, Rodney, in the beginning, when they stepped up for Rodney Perry, yeah, oh,
you got 7 minutes. You got 7 minutes.
20 minutes of your shit. You better be doing stuff.
Right. You can't be bad. You can't be bad and have that. Yeah, you're right.
All right, well, we might jump back into the NFL a little bit later. Let me stop. We got to switch over to the NBA because the clock is moving. And, of course, we all know Game 4 is tonight with the Heat and the Lakers. If Bam Adebayo returns tonight, right, do you guys see a difference? Do you see that it might make a difference with the way Miami played the last game, Talent? Or do you think it doesn't matter? The Lakers are still going to come out and put their foot in their behind and it's still, still going to win.
Well, I think it does matter. I think that him coming back throws the wrench that they need into the program. Remember what I tell you, LeBron is the best homework checker. Mm-hmm. So he's going to come back with the homework from the last game. The only thing that throws that off a little bit is Bam being back because he wasn't in the last game. Mm-hmm. So what you was thinking about, everything they did in the last game, believe it or not, they did it because they had to. Mm-hmm. There was no Bam, you missing Dragic. So now, if Bam throws another piece in that puzzle, the homework gets a little off balance. Mm-hmm. So I think it gives them a better chance, obviously, if he comes back because you just did your homework and he wasn't part of the homework.
All right, I'll say this before I throw it to Rodney Perry. I agree with what you're saying, but AD not playing that well and getting out of foul trouble, that threw their whole mojo off. You know what I mean? So, Rodney, what you think?
Let's not get part of the homework was the earlier parts of the series. The homework ain't just one game. They played Bam. Bam was a part of the first ass whooping. So Bam got hurt, tried to get hurt. Who faked a neck injury? Okay. Bam don't want to play.
So you think he's faking?
Bam may not play. Bam been trying to get out this series. He want to ride that bicycle on the sideline. Let me tell you something. The Lakers should come in here and whoop. I'm talking about a blowout. I'm predicting a blowout, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because of what you said, Talent. Because of the homework. Let me tell you something. LeBron them never lose 2 games in a row, right? And I think they satisfied their NBA obligation by losing the game. Like, they completely didn't show up. AD in foul trouble. LeBron ain't even defending nobody. He looking around like, who I cover? That like, it just don't make no sense. And so, watch.
I think it'll be a blowout because of what Jimmy Butler and LeBron was doing, all that trash talking after. You don't remember towards the end of the game? I think. And I think he got the wrong person upset. You know what I mean? I think, but not, Jimmy Butler ain't no pushover either. But at the end of the day, he said something, they were going back and forth, him and LeBron were going back and forth, and they were just incited. But anyway, Talon, let me throw this to you. I was listening to Sports Talk Radio. Fred VanVleet, like I told you, we've been talking about him before. He is an unrestricted free agent. His name is now rotating in the name of the circles of possibly going down to Philadelphia and being that veteran shooter that Philly needs. Philadelphia Sixers need a shooter. You know what I mean? Does it make sense for them to bring in Fred VanVleet to the Philadelphia 76ers, or do you think VanVleet's going to stay in Toronto and or maybe go somewhere else? Because he's going to follow the money. He's going to follow the money. And I don't know if Philadelphia has the money. I heard this morning that they have some money to sign a couple people. But they're also losing a couple of people too. So, what you think, Talent?
I think that you have to. We know obviously they're going to be looking for a shooter. They have to bring one in. I think it makes sense for VanVleet to go to the Sixers. You're not only going to the Sixers as a team, you're going with the new head coach, Doc Rivers. So if you're going to leave the team you're in, that you got your chip. And the coaching can't get no better to me than where you're going from to a Doc Rivers program and situation. VanVleet, if you've been paying attention, has been getting better and better season by season. Mm-hmm. He is nothing but a super 100% asset for the Sixers. The Sixers are bums when it comes to shooting. Mm-hmm. When it comes to shooting, you know who's out there shooting the most? Big goofy Embiid. Embiid is the shooter. He's supposed to be the big man. He's the shooter. VanVleet better get his ass over the 76ers, shake and hug Doc Rivers' hand. I go with VanVleet. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Rodney Perry. Does VanVleet does that, or does he go follow the money, go somewhere else? You see him landing out in Philadelphia?
I mean, that wouldn't be a bad place for him to land. We're talking about Chris Paul maybe in and up there, and Chris Paul is long in the tooth, and I think VanVleet is a younger, more effective version of Chris Paul. Mm-hmm. So given that, I think they need more than a shooter. They need a general, a court general, and I think he could be that guy for them. When I saw the news about that, I was like, that might be a good look. I mean, they still need some pieces. They need some more shooting, but they need more shooting all around. It can't be no one guy.
Yeah, they need perimeter shooters. Yeah, because they lost.
They need some more shooters. Yeah, and VanVleet is a good court general. He's just a tough guy. His vibe is tough. I mean, he really low key. That was his team that won. Everybody give your boy out. What's his name? Goddamn. My man that played for Doc Rivers in California.
Kawhi.
Whatever. Can't get right. So they can't get right all the credit, but can't get right. Remember, he was gimpy in that series, and he made some big shots at the end, but through the game, he was just okay. Mm-hmm. VanVleet, that was his team. And so he a court general. I love to see that there.
Okay. Another name that I heard this morning, actually, I've been hearing for a week. It's Montrezl Harris. Montrezl Harris, they're saying right now is going to join the Lakers because the Lakers going to
You
lose.
like Montrezl Harris?
No, because I don't like him at all. Honestly, I'm not a fan. But they keep saying his name keeps rotating as going to the Lakers next year with obviously with AD and with LeBron, and because the Lakers are going to lose JaVale McGee and they're going to lose Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard might come back for a veteran minimum talent. Do you see Montrezl Harris saying I'm going to go to the Lakers and stay in LA? Or do you see him saying, "Nah, I'm gonna follow the money"? Because he's one of those free agents that's climbing. You know what I mean? Like his whole pendulum thing is going up, and you know the future looks better for him, and better and better and brighter and brighter. You know, and especially a big contract. I think this is his huge contract year right now. So you see him landing in the Lakers?
No, I see him going wherever the money is.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these guys, man, they don't have the long-term vision that we have for them sometimes. Like sometimes we follow players like, oh, he gonna be blah blah blah, give him 4 or 5 years, and they just looking to ball out, max out, and then cruise control out.
Mm-hmm.
Strikes me as a money guy. I could be wrong. Obviously, the best thing would be to stay. If the Lakers finish this thing and win this chip, it behooves everybody that they can keep. But I understand it's a contract year. Some of these guys can go get much more money somewhere else. I would, if I had to put money on it.
You had to put money on it.
He going to get some money.
Okay, all right. So I guess the question then falls to you, Rodney. Being that you are a Lakers fan, do you see Montrezl Harris staying in LA except switching jerseys, going from the Clippers to the Lakers?
I mean, it will be a good look. I mean, if you think about it, if the Lakers win the championship, I mean, as a player, I mean, I don't know if this is money year. If he go to the Lakers, cross town, don't have to move your kids, don't have to move your family, right?
Yeah,
that's important.
Right.
So you ain't got to move your family, your kids. They can stay in the same school, everything. And you go to the Lakers and mess around and win a championship, help them win a championship. Now your value skyrocket.
Right. So I see him staying. Honestly, I see him following the money. But it all depends if the Lakers can figure out some money to get him to stay. But I see him following the money because this is his big contract. You know, where he's gonna land a lot of money. You know, so I don't know. But we talked about Fred VanVleet. We talked about Montrezl Harris. Here's a name that nobody's talking about is Andre Drummond. He's a free agent too right now. You know, he made his sticks with the Detroit Pistons. He's also in a contract year, except I think he's getting ready to go on the opposite end. I think he's in his twilight years. I think we've seen him, already pass. So if the Lakers don't land him, I see the Lakers landing Andre Drummond if they don't get Montrezl Harris. Does that make sense for you, Talent? What you think?
Well, he's from my hometown, so he bring his ass on home whenever he's ready. You know what I mean? If he passed his prime and nobody don't pick him up, I'm throwing a cookout next. I'm throwing a cookout next summer. He can come to that. I don't agree. I don't think he passes prime, though, Frank. I think the brother's pretty good, and I think he's going to be a good additive. He's a role player. He's a rebound grabbing, shot blocking role player, so he's going to be good.
Okay, he could be. He could be, but I still think that he's past that prime. We've seen him being a great rebounder. He could shoot. The brother would shoot. I love him.
But let's keep it real, Frank. In the NBA, it's 2 primes, especially when you're a big man. You got 2 primes. All players got that original prime that you're doing everything. Mm-hmm. Then you got the second prime where you become a specialist or a role player. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, look at Dennis Rodman is the perfect example. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? The Dennis Rodman that got to them championships with Jordan, he was already a specialist at that point.
Right.
They brought him in to do a job.
Good point. Rodney Perry, would you agree or disagree?
I mean, him coming to the Lakers would be a good look because you lose JaVale McGee, who gives you nothing. He averaged 2 rebounds a game, and he averaged -3 points a game. And if you can get a guy like Drummond to come in his stead, that would be a great look for the Lakers. But I mean, if you kind of get an advance in your career, you're gonna want to go get as close as you can to a chip. He's not going to Golden State. He's not going to Houston. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of places he's not gonna go. So the Lakers is definitely historically one of those teams that'll take a wily veteran.
Mm-hmm. You know, I'm at a crossroads with Andre Drummond and the Lakers. I think, again, like you guys were saying, I think if the Lakers win, people will be like, oh, especially if LeBron stays, people will be like, I'll play with you. I'll play with you. LeBron leaves and AD's there, then I don't think it's a destination that people are going to want to go to. You know what I mean?
LeBron going?
I'm just saying, nobody knows what LeBron's saying. What happens if LeBron ends up winning this year and he says, you know what,
LeBron can't go. He's not going to retire. But AD may leave. Now, that's a real conversation. But AD ain't going nowhere.
No, he ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. AD loves
his team, the Los Angeles Lakers, Hollywood, the Unibrow. Come on, baby.
He ain't going nowhere.
I like the way Rodney say, where LeBron going? Somewhere else, Negro. He's been doing it. This is team 5 or 6. He's been doing it every other year.
Okay, let's talk about it. He was in Cleveland. Everybody leaves Cleveland.
Twice.
Steve Harvey, Halle Berry, everybody leave Cleveland. So you leave Cleveland, you go to Miami. Why do you go to Miami? It's tax-free, right? All your money is tax-free, but you married. Get the hell out of Miami.
Immediately.
Quick, or your whole life gonna fall apart. Get out of Miami, you go back to Cleveland just to calm down.
So you leave, go back?
You go back to Cleveland, that's home. All the Cleveland people go back home. They all do. You go back home, AJ Jamal, go home. They go home.
You know what? Let's see if we can get somebody to agree or disagree with what you Negroes are saying. My man Touré's in the building. Touré, how you doing, brother? Touré from Philly. How you doing?
I don't know, man. I was listening to, first of all, I disagree off the rip. I disagree with anything Rodney Perry said.
What an asshole.
This guy knows nothing. This guy knows diddly squat. he talking about the Bears, man. Y'all undefeated. He want him fired because he can't play with him on the game.
I watch the Bears every day. They don't
man want the man ran out of town in real life. Secondarily, who the fuck is Montrezl Harris? The boy name is Montrezl Harrell.
That's what we said.
Harrell. Harold.
Didn't I say that? I said that, right?
You said Harris a couple times.
Oh, I meant Harold.
Andre Drummond, a shooter. That's not what Andre Drummond do, bro. He's 7 feet tall. He get the ball off the rim. That's what Andre Drummond do.
I seen him shoot a couple of J's on the Celtics.
Is he not everybody shoot when they open except Ben
Simmons.
Dummy.
Everybody shoot when they open except Ben Simmons. That nigga won't shoot if you give him the gun. Shoot. I don't want to shoot. That's why I'm telling you, look, if the Sixers get Chris Paul, they talking about Ben Simmons for Chris Paul and the dude with the funny name over there. I forget his name. We drafted him, but traded him. Young guy. Chris Paul and him come over. And if we get Van Fleet, that's a nice backcourt to get the ball to Embiid. Here's the thing. I know what you're thinking. Why get rid of Ben Simmons? Because there's nobody in the league like Embiid. Mm-hmm. With Ben Simmons, though, we don't maximize who Embiid is. With Ben Simmons, like Tyler said, he has to shoot.
Don't y'all get too small, though? Won't y'all be too small with Van Vliet and Chris Paul in the backcourt?
I mean, but we got to utilize Embiid, though, dude. If we don't unlock Embiid, we end up getting rid of him. And I mean, it's a million Ben Simmons in the league. For real. For that skill set, what he does on the court. I mean, it's only one Embiid, man. Like that dude 7 feet. He's like Akeem in the post. He hit the three like Gasol out the top of the key. We got to utilize that or move him and get somebody that can play with Simmons. But that's the trade. If they trade Simmons for Paul and whatever that kid's name is, that's why they would do it.
I don't think they're gonna trade Ben Simmons. I
don't think so either. I'm just saying it would be that to build the team, but they're not gonna do it. They like this kid. They looking at all the money. He's good looking, all that crap, the marketability. But we're gonna lose. We're gonna win 50 games and get put out in the playoffs every year. Who's the coach? First coach to go is Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn gotta go, man. Ain't no excuse left. Dan Quinn gotta go. He's the last dude to go before, like Tyler said, before they get rid of the quarterback. Dan Quinn. They done fired every assistant. They done got rid of. I don't even think is Dimitrov still there. I think they done got rid of the GM.
Yeah, I think he's gone too. I don't know. Hey, Roddy, is Demetrius in this in Atlanta? Or is he gone? I think he's gone.
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to fact check.
Yeah, Rodney, listen, man. Don't be cutting your eye at me, nigga. Whatever it is, you can log off right now and get
it. Rodney.
Yeah.
All right, so we ain't going to even ask you about San Francisco, but
man, you believe that when you see what they did to me, Frank? You see what? Oh my God, I felt like they left me behind enemy lines, man. My social media is the equivalent of pussy come outside right now. That's what my social media. They did it every time, Frank. Every time. I'm like, how we lose to these dudes? We was up. We was with. The Eagles gonna go to Heinz Field and get trashed this Sunday.
You think so?
Oh yeah. They always they just good enough to beat my team, make me look foolish. But they gonna suck for the rest of the year. The Eagles gonna win about 4 games this season, man.
4 games?
No, that's
4. Yeah, man. I'm
no.
telling you, man. Look, the NFC East is garbage.
Yeah.
The only team that don't have no excuse is Dallas. All those other teams are hurt up or just got they don't have the better players in the skill position. Dallas don't have no excuse, but the Eagles is hurt. The Eagles is deeply hurt on their offensive line. Carson Wentz ain't what he thought, especially without Frank Reich. Washington, I mean, they basically trying to get that team out of Dan Quinn's hands.
Mm-hmm.
And, the Giants is in rebuilding mode. Giants are the Giants.
Since you talk about the NFC, let me throw this question out there to you and everything else. Do you think that this is a Dak Prescott year when he getting ready to get his money? Do you think he going to do that?
He going to have Drew Brees type numbers this year, but they going to hold them wins and losses against him.
Yeah.
He going to have about, in the season, he going to have about 5,000-6,000 yards passing this year, but they going to be about 7 and 9.
They can't continue to not pay the guy. Like
I know, but and Stephen A said that, but they've been able to so far, Rodney.
Yeah, they have
really been able to not get that
$35 million this year.
He should have got Jeff Goff. He don't deserve Jared Goff money.
I mean, it's a lot of people that he deserved their money.
Yeah, man.
At least.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, since we talk about people and money, let me throw the question out to everybody. Do you, Talent, and Two-Ray, since these? Oh, wait, let me just ask you this. Two-Ray, are you finished with your disagreements part? You know what I mean? Since you substituted for Rodney Perry today,
I mean, the coaches, I disagree. I think Dan Quinn is going to be the first coach, and Drummond to the Lakers would be a good thing. So I don't know who disagreed with that, but I think Drummond to the Lakers, especially like you said, JaVale is out of there. Dwight Howard is out of there. Dwight Howard ain't going to kiss ass for a whole nother season, especially if he got another ring.
Is.
You think so?
Yeah.
He looked like he ready to break.
Transgenders.
Yeah, you remember when the bubble first started, that nigga was ready to break. I ain't wearing no mask.
He looked like he was ready to break.
He was ready to break. He was snapping it. When they had somebody to grab him, like, yo, chill out. He's like, well, fuck the mask. He ready to break, man. He ain't gonna go. If he get that ring.
If he get the ring, he gonna follow the money. They're not gonna pay. He's not.
If he get the ring, he gonna stay.
He gonna stay? I
don't think so. I think he's gonna follow money. I think he's gonna follow the money. All right, question for you now is Cam Newton about to get paid now, or what? Should the Patriots pay him, or should he just go somewhere else? Because I think that by the Patriots looking like they did last night, set up Cam Newton to get paid either by the Patriots or even somebody even outside of but he's getting ready to get paid. So
Cam Newton got bad luck, man, because, see, at the end of the year, they're going to have 6 games to look at. He's going to miss about 4 games with this COVID shit.
Yeah.
So they're going to be like, we don't know. We don't have a big enough body of work. And woo. They're going to hit him with all that, man. It's unfortunate because if he would have played the full season, this would be a different conversation. But he's going to miss about 4 games.
No.
It'll be hard.
Hey, Belichick looked like one of those dudes that look for a reason.
Right.
Not
like, I mean, if you'd have been here the whole season.
Well, Belichick is not going to pay him.
No, Belichick not going to pay him.
He can go get that money somewhere else.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he going to get paid from somebody.
Chicago.
We'll take his ass to Chicago.
Yeah,
Chicago might be a perfect fit for him.
They'll pull up the damn dump truck worth money and pay him in Chicago.
But I'll say this. Chicago is one of the names on that list that paid a pass at him, so he might not go to the names of the people who passed on him. You know what I mean? And Chicago's one of those names. They took Nick Foles instead of Cam Newton. That really upset him. You know what I mean? So, Talon, do you agree or disagree? You think he's gonna get paid? You think he's gonna get paid? Go follow the money? What you think?
Well, I think the only thing is a catch-22. I feel like what Rodney said, like somebody gonna pay him, but I also feel like Belichick has been spoiled for a long time keeping the same quarterback. I don't think he's a quarterback jumper type of guy, so I think that he's going to use his influence to say, "Yo, man," especially how the season ends off.
Right.
That he keeps him there. So I think Belichick's going to be in his corner. He have a good season. Belichick's going to want to keep him.
I'll say this for the record: Tom Brady money comes off this year, and they free up $100 million next year. So of that $100 million, they got to, obviously they got to sign a lot of other players and everything. How much of that Cam gets if they offer it to him? I think it'll change. Cam's mind will change if they're able to go far in the playoffs. Let's say they go to the championship. I think Cam will be like, you know what? I think I'm gonna stay right here and see if I get a Super Bowl. But I don't know. Y'all can agree or disagree. I don't know.
That's true.
I
I think that's true as far as if their playoff run is deep. Because I mean, what else is he doing?
Right, exactly. So I just also wanted to talk about a couple of things. Odell Beckham, right? Because Cleveland beat Dallas. Word is out of Cleveland that Odell's stock is high. Do you too, Ray? Do you see Odell staying in Cleveland for the length of the season, or do you see them Cleveland, dangling him out there for trade bait because they ain't got no draft picks neither, and they trying to stock everything else? You think he's gonna stay up there, or what you think's gonna happen?
I think he'll stay. You got to remember, that's first time coaching Cleveland. He's not trying to go through all that. He's trying to get through this season, show what he can do. It's about it. Everybody's auditioning. Everybody's showing what they can do too. So Kevin Stefanski trying to say, look, I didn't led these guys to a 10-6 record or whatever. And you're not going to give up Odell Beckham for what? What are you going to get? You fleeced the Giants when they did that deal. So
Right.
I don't think it's nobody. What you going to get? Draft picks? Or for what? These college players that played eight games this season?
Yeah, Odell's worth what, a second and third round draft pick right now? He's not worth a first round. You know what I mean? He's definitely not going to be that. But
I mean, he's still a prime time receiver.
This year's first round, he might be.
He's still a prime time receiver. He's still fast. He still got the skill set. And is he trade bait? I don't think so. Not yet. But this team is just coming together.
Right.
Now, all the Browns, and they're gonna find a way to fuck it up.
Hold on. Frank gonna stop disrespecting New York players. Stop disrespecting. Once you play in New York, you're always in New York.
Man, please, nobody will hear that.
You can give a first round pick for Odell. He's still first round pick tradable.
Y'all traded that man.
Let's be real, Talon. His numbers wise, he's not. I mean, I know he is by talent wise, but you know how it is when it comes down to trade. They're gonna be like, well, what did he do this year? And what's his number say? And how many catches he got? How many drops he got? That's what they're gonna do. They're not gonna look at it like we all know skill wise. He's
and they're gonna be like, is that Dookie I smell?
And he a wide receiver. You know how that go. They're gonna be like, that position don't require that much attention.
Yeah, that's right. That's why the question to you guys is: are they going to dangle him? Because if they smart now,
I think they keep that team the way it is because right now they're doing what they need to do. They winning.
Okay. Now I asked the other guys there about the fire and everything else. I guess the next question I wanted to ask you two, Ray, since you up there, is should Mike McCarthy should he be fired now? So you think he should be out like right now, or would you think Dallas should hold on to him and everything else? Because he's getting a lot of the blame right now, he should.
Yeah, I don't think no coach should be fired first 4 games. Like any new coach this year, it's too much going on this year like that. Like y'all gotta let these dudes get through the year. But it does explain a lot about Green Bay's struggles. Like this dude, like you've been handed the keys to a great car, and he ran that shit right to the wall. Like there's no reason Dallas is looking like that on the field with no discipline. Like that's coaching. When you let teams put up 40 points on you a week, every week. Like at some point you go, all right, we're gonna slow the ball down, run the ball. Fuck it, we can't keep up with them.
But again, in all fairness, they had no preseason. They had absolutely no preseason.
Nobody had preseason. Everybody playing from the same table. But he's got these players. And remember, I don't know if you remember when they got hired, he had his own little brain trust. Like when Jerry Jones hired him, he brought in a whole squad. They had already been together. He brought his assistants, his team to Dallas.
Yeah.
So he already had his thing together.
Yeah.
All you needed was the players.
Well, let me get ready to bring in my man Stack with the facts to see what we got wrong. Stack, what's up, man? How you doing today?
What's up, fellas? I'm doing great.
All right, what we get wrong today? Because let me first let you know that's Ture there from Philly.
What's up, Ture?
So that's my man Stack from who checked the facts to see what we got right or wrong. He usually goes to the list of you got this wrong, and since you already corrected me, Ture saying that's
exactly what I'm about to say. Ture handled business with the Drummond, fix. And the Montrez Harris, whoever that is.
I'm like, who fucking that?
I said Harold. I swear I said Harold. But all right.
But you also messed up on it's Giancarlo Stanton.
Giancarlo.
Yeah, you called him. I couldn't even pronounce what you called him.
I can never pronounce the name right. But anyway, go ahead.
That's it. And Dimitrov is still the GM of the Falcons.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now we were talking about, of course, fits and everything else before you actually came in the show. We were talking about fits, who was going to fit where with the NBA and things like that. Now, I'm going to ask you all this because I asked you guys this a couple of days ago. Ture, you wasn't in this conversation. I'm going to ask you this, and I'm going to go around the table right now. What is the shocking trade that we about to see? Because the NBA season, we all know they get ready to start in December because a couple of guests we had. Everything's moving fast. You see what's happening in Philly? Doc's coming in Philly. Sam Cassell, he's getting ready to probably come and staff and probably move along with them and everything else. But what shocking trade do you see happening? What player and what team this season? And I'm gonna start with you two, Ray, since you're new to the show today.
Right, quick. I don't know if you did that on purpose. Oh yeah, T, you out moving around, but your mic is muted. I think that trade I was discussing earlier, man. Like to me, it makes sense. Ben Simmons for Chris Paul, and Jesus, I wish I could remember that kid's name because we drafted him. But those two for Ben Simmons, I think Ben Simmons moves.
Okay, all right, Rodney Perry, what do you think? Would be the
man? You know what? I think Doc is going to affect some stuff. If you can get Embiid with can't get right, that might be something, man.
Yeah.
If you take can't get right and put him over in Philly with Embiid and mess around and get Chris Paul, that becomes a super team.
Yeah.
You said that's crazy. It's crazy, but if it could happen.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. Did we lose talent? Because I was going to ask him next.
I think we lost it.
I can go now.
Right.
So I think that there's a lot of free agents. I think the free agent signings is going to be where the frenzy is this season. But blockbuster trade that I think would be real interesting would be Miles Turner somehow ending up in Boston.
Ooh,
that would be dope.
Ooh, that'd be monstrous for them.
Well, who would they lose?
That's
Stack?
a big
I
number.
think there's a couple ways they could do it, but I think Boston's got a lot of first-round picks and a lot of young talent.
They have 4 first-round picks. Boston has 4 first-round picks, and they
got a lot of
team intact and still get a guy like that.
Exactly, because we got Romeo Langford, who's from Indiana, who was a lottery pick last season. And then we got a lottery pick this year. We could trade both of those off with maybe like one of our bigs like Cantor or Tice or both of them. And that right there, it matches Miles Turner's money. And you could bring Turner right in.
Yeah, he would fit perfectly. And Talent, you there with us? You still with us?
He back. He on the train.
Oh, he on the train. Okay. Can you talk? Talent, can you talk? Oh, yeah, I guess not. All right, well, I'll throw this out there. This is what I think. I think James Harden is going to move. I don't know where he's going to move to. I think however it comes in, I think the new coach that comes in, he's going to say, you know what, he's not working out with the team, and I have a whole new style. I have a whole new system I want to implement. I don't know which team he's going to go to, but because he's making so much money. But it's interesting to see if they make a trade maybe with New Orleans, or if they make a trade with somebody. One of these teams that have a lot of young players. But I think out of the blockbuster trade, I think his name is number one on like we're gonna see in the offseason of people who's gonna ship. Now,
what would you like to see him go?
I guess that's the question. I mean, honestly, I don't like him as a player at all because he don't pass the ball. I don't like him at all. He don't pass the ball.
Is it that he don't pass the ball, or D'Antoni made it that way? Because I mean, this guy, he was 6-man. He was other things before he became just
scoring machine. Yeah,
3-pointers. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So because of D'Antoni, the way he make him play, he gonna give you 40 and 8 every night. Now somewhere else, could he give you 28-10.
With a team that's working. I mean, I didn't even think of it like that. Maybe it was D'Antoni. I didn't even think of it like that. But I will say this: when I watched Houston play, I didn't really see D'Antoni calling too many plays. I saw it looked like
because that shit is unstoppable. That dude gets you at the top of the key.
But
if you don't have help, it's 3.
That's D'Antoni's method, though. He always was like that before. When he was Phoenix, it was run and gun offense. They don't call plays. Their whole philosophy is get up more shots than the other team, and you outscore dudes. That's it.
Yeah,
3 or layup.
That whole analytics philosophy, right?
Right.
Yeah. Just chuck it. Yeah, just chuck it.
If you're gonna take a shot, a jump shot, it's a 3. If not, layup. 3 or layup. That's how D'Antoni won it.
Yep.
But last question before we start wrapping things up. Last question, we'll start with Rodney Perry. Rodney, how far do you think the Philadelphia 76ers are going to go this year with Doc as a head coach? Now, I will give you a couple of parameters. Let me say this now. Philadelphia 76ers are going to start the season in the bubble. So all the issues that they players had, the bubble issues are going to still continue. So this next upcoming season, 2020, 2021 season is going to be in the bubble. Okay. That makes a difference to me. I think it makes a huge difference. So, Rodney,
the bubble may help Philly. I mean, playing in Philly is hard. You know, the fans. Look at this guy, for God's sake. The fans, they boo Santa Claus. So the bubble might help Philly. Where would they end up? They may make it to the first round of playoffs, no further.
Really? Okay. All right. Stack, what you think?
I think the Atlantic Division is going to be real stacked next season, and I don't know. I think Philly, I see them winning like 50, no more than 55 games.
Okay, well, Philadelphia native too, Ray. Tell us what you think, because you'll know inside out. You know how it gets down in Philadelphia, more than any of us. So how far do you think the Sixers are going to go next year? And I would just say this. Doc Rivers is going to have the team in the bubble, but you also know they're going to add some key pieces. It ain't the team the way we see right now. They're going to add some key pieces. So
I didn't know that the NBA was going to start in the bubble, but to me, I think that's a great thing. Like basketball camp was always different, man. The games was always more intense because we're there all day. We eat and sleep and drink in basketball. So I think that helps all those teams because they can't worry about everybody got money, man. Everybody got the same sneaks. Everybody got the check ball. That's what we're about to do. So I think that helps all the teams. But I mean, like 50 games, the number of games won around 50, 55. But here's the thing. The expectation is if this coach don't get us to where we've been already and beyond, he's going to feel some heat in Philly. Like if we get bounced in the first round or second round, we don't make it to the Eastern Conference Final, he's going to feel some heat here because it's like, we did this without you. It's
going to be championship or bust. It's going to be at least finals or bust.
The expectation. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying what it's going to be, but I'm telling you how this Philly people, how media going to be, especially if they come out winning. Like if they hit the All-Star break with like 30 wins.
Well, I'll say this. I don't think anybody had an idea of how the bubble was going to handle all those young dudes. I don't think anybody figured that out. And I don't think a lot of teams that are good are going to perform the way that we expect them to. And I think a lot of teams that were bad are going to perform better because just as we saw in the bubble.
You know what, though, Frank? I think you're right because the second go-round ain't going to be like the first.
Right.
Like this was something they wanted to do.
Right.
Not if they wanted to do it, they got to get. The second go-round is going to be like, it's going to be some niggas getting put out because they didn't de-quarantine, and it's gonna be different. You're right.
A lot of that.
They said there's gonna be some changes. There's gonna be pods and stuff like that, supposedly for the fans to be able to come in, and so I don't. And then they said it's not starting until next year. They said it'll be 2021.
They were saying it's gonna look like December 2020 or January. You know what I mean? That's when they're thinking about starting the season. But they also said, a couple of people said it's gonna be probably 4 different or 5 different types of pods or bubbles. Good. You know what I mean? They're gonna have everybody
makes sense.
And that's which does make sense. But again, I'll say this: you saw how Paul George and the Clippers and how those boys are balling. You saw how they acted and how they performed in the bubble, which was low bar. And then you had the Phoenix Suns perform better than what you would have expected. Like they didn't.
What about Denver? Wasn't nobody checking for Denver? I think the bubble benefited them guys.
Who wasn't checking for Denver?
Again, I'll say this again.
I mean, they was still a medium tier team.
Yeah, wasn't nobody expecting them to do that.
Right, but again, the teams that you don't expect to do well.
Don't get me wrong, Stat. Once they got into the series with with the Clippers, we was like, oh, well, they got it. But
all season long, Denver been balling. Even last season, Jokic was an MVP finalist last season.
Right, but what I'm saying is when you get in a bubble and you got a coach like Malone and you got these young players, his voice can dominate somewhere like that. Whereas if they was out, he might not have been able to get to them like that. Like he was able to keep the team.
I think it's about Jamal. I think it boils down to Jamal Murray. This is his third season.
Crazy.
This is his third season. He's just coming into his own.
I had no idea he was like that.
Yeah, he was doing that.
Pitino was like, there's only been one dude that I had to average more than 19 in Kentucky, and that was Jamal Murray. I was like, what?
Okay, but see, again, you guys are proving my point that teams that aren't expected to do so well are overperforming, and the teams that we're doing so well were underperforming. And I think a lot of it has to do with the mentality of the players. I think all that, and honestly, I don't think that whoever is going to come out for next season, with the major trades and everything else, is not going to be who we expect. That's all I'm trying to say. I want to throw it out there. But anyway, we got to wrap up the show. Rodney, can you tell everybody out there how they can follow you?
RodneyPerry.com, the website, and Rodney Perry Live on social media. This weekend on the road, Raleigh, North Carolina, Charlie Goodnights. Come get a show.
I appreciate that. And of course, I really thank Toure for joining the show today. He did the I Just Did segment. And Rodney, it was kind of funny. I appreciate him for you stepping in doing
big
that.
shoes to fill.
I appreciate let me jump in, man. But it's always easy to find me at Comedy by Toure this weekend. I'm at Punchline Philly, and if you log on to Instagram about 10 minutes, you can see me put my foot in Rodney Perry ass on Madden. So that's always easy to find me, man.
All right, y'all be ready for that. Oh, he got to stay out there. Stack, how can they follow you?
Y'all catch me on Instagram and Twitter at Stackinova. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
This is the show called The Box Seat. We're on the Humor Mill channel. You can download the Humor Mill app, tell a friend to tell a friend, or call your cable service provider to add this channel. We appreciate you. Appreciate Rodney Perry. Appreciate Toure. Appreciate Stack. Much thanks to my man Talent, who of course fell out during the show. And of course, Fig will be back tomorrow. This is the show called The Box Seat. Tomorrow, 1:00.
Big shout out to Fig. Thank you, Pop.
Thanks.